a style of film America's never seen before. Jordan Peele's Get Out brings to life disturbing fears rooted in reality, ones that many black people only hope will never come true. In a psychological thriller like Get Out, Peele exposes the disturbing realities of the psychological effects of racism in a way that is layered in intricate metaphors. In this approach, Peele conveys how the perspective of the white imagination leads to microaggressions, which therefore manifests itself into the black subconscious through the toll of code switching, a psychological constraint of racism. What are some of the techniques that artists today use to bring awareness of the psychological effects of racism in an effort to create empathy? In what ways can someone who is a part of the majority be able to understand microaggressions and code switching specifically through art? Artists like Jordan Peele, Ava DuVernay, George Tillman Jr., Ryan Coogler, Boots Riley, and Rashid Johnson use a myriad of methods to convey the effects of racism. Directors DuVernay, Coogler, and Tillman Jr. use a more direct approach which incorporates realistic or actual historical footage, diverse perspectives, and realistic portrayals of characters to draw the audience in a lifelike but jarring way, making the audience follow the characters every single step of the story. In Get Out, Peele uses a more metaphorical approach to draw an empathetic response. He uses layered intricacies, a complex but simple plot, and a multiplicity of character dimensions while still allowing space for relatability. In a similar yet more complex way, in Us, Peele uses a metaphorical approach that separates the audience from the many sides of the characters, in a way that allows the audience to examine the faults of society on a much deeper and metaphorically layered level. Similar to the previously mentioned approach, a metaphorical but detached approach is also implemented in Boots Riley's direction in Sorry to Bother You. This separation of the audience from the situation can be seen through the many metaphorical layers like the horses, the white voice, and even in specific characters. Rashid Johnson's direction of Native Son is a very isolating but direct approach. The audience is pushed completely out of any empathetic approach, seen through stilled shots, slow motion moments, and even through unclear and distilled imagery. Claudia Ranking's idea of white imagination, or how white people view black people through fantasy-driven narratives. The film industry feeds into the white imagination, building an image that black people can often be of danger to white people, and this lie begins to bleed into reality by internalizing what is seen and represented on TV and applying that to real life. The white imagination then confirms that whatever dangerous image, which has been conjured up from their subconscious mind, is how all black people are to be perceived. The white imagination is usually characterized in film in a form of shock or surprise when a black person does not fit into the category or stereotype that a white character was imagining them in. In this moment, Ryan Coogler clearly juxtaposes the white character's white imagination to the black character's genuine intentions. Katie, the white character, is actually surprised that Oscar, the black character, is trying to help her figure out what fish to fry. Coogler shows Katie's fear through the way she steps to the side while Oscar is talking to her. It isn't until he introduces himself and says that he works there that Katie actually warms up to him. Jordan Peele's depiction of the white imagination. In this moment, Rose is so surprised and almost disappointed that Chris didn't kill her off. The fantasy that she had imagined him to surrender into was not fulfilled. In the moment where the police car pulls up, in any other movie in Hollywood, this fantasy of Rose's would have been fulfilled and Chris would have gone to jail. Even though Rose would be dead, she would be the one getting closure, not Chris. Jordan Peele actually had an alternative where Chris was arrested by two officers who pull up in the police car, but decided to go with a more uplifting finale. You may be wondering, why would Peele elicit a different yet more hopeful ending to a movie that is supposed to be confrontational? Instead of Peele going with the stereotype that a black man will be arrested for a crime he committed without the police knowing the exact context of it, Peele decides to go against the grain of Hollywood and submit a more hopeful ending for an empathetic response.
Where have you been? Everyone's ditching girl. Come on, let's go.
From the white imagination comes microaggressions, or preconceived notions that come with assuming the black narrative. In an effort to relate, some non-people of color try to assume or comment on things that specifically relate to one's race or other parts of their identity.
Star, just pretend the ball is a piece of fried chicken.
What was that?
What? It's game talk.
Fried chicken is game talk? I've never heard that one before.
Holy shit. Star, we had fried chicken for lunch. It was a joke.
Some people believe that comments like, "it was just a joke," are ways of undoing the hurt of a microaggression, but it does not. If anything, doesn't that just make things worse? Understanding that some words may affect a person in a specific way is the way in which we manifest empathy.
Really? I thought you'd love this considering what you've been putting up on Tumblr lately.
Love it?
Well, not love it, obviously, but I mean, you care, right? It's your neighborhood. Thought you might even know the guy.
Under these constraints of the white imagination and microaggressions comes the toll of code switching. In A.T. McWilliams' article on Sorry to Bother You, Black Americans and the Power and Peril of Code Switching, the idea that code switching provides self-protection and a means to not only adapt to one's environment, but to survive in any environment is introduced. Instead of criticizing code switching, why not try confronting the environments that trigger or enforce this instinct? There is power in code switching, but there is also a toll it brings to those who wield it. Unlike other directors, Peele empowers Black people while exposing the psychological oppression and trauma that people cause daily, in the most subtle and unintentional ways.
So, is it true? Is it better?
Wow.
Fairer skin has been in favor for the past, couple of hundreds of years. But now the pendulum is swung back. Black is in fashion.
Through the script writing, through actors' vocal intonations, through methods of exploiting the white imagination, bringing awareness to microaggressions, and creating empathy around code switching are all techniques in which Peele uses in a subtle yet metaphorical yet empathetic manner in the movie Get Out.